In 1986, the Vietnamese government introduced the Doi Moi renovation reforms, which marked a significant shift towards a socialist-oriented market economy. These reforms opened up the country to foreign investment, liberalized trade, and encouraged private enterprise, leading to rapid economic growth and significant improvements in living standards. Culture and society. Religions and beliefs. Vietnamese culture is deeply rooted in spiritual and religious beliefs, with Buddhism being the most prominent religion. However, the practice of ancestor worship is perhaps the most pervasive cultural tradition, reflecting the importance of family and lineage in Vietnamese society. Temples dedicated to the Buddha, Confucius, and various local deities are common throughout the country. Catholicism, introduced during French colonization, is also practiced by a significant minority, making Vietnam home to one of the largest Catholic communities in Southeast Asia. Additionally, there are small communities of Protestants, Chao Dai, a syncretic religion, and Hoa Hao Buddhists. Festivals and traditions. Vietnamese festivals are vibrant and deeply embedded in the cultural fabric. The most important is Tet Nguyen Dan, Lunar New Year, which marks the beginning of the lunar calendar year. Tet is a time for family reunions, paying respects to ancestors, and celebrating with traditional foods, music, and rituals. Other significant festivals include the Mid-Autumn Festival, which celebrates the harvest and features lantern processions and mooncake eating, and the Hoan Kiem Festival, which honors the legendary founders of the Vietnamese nation. The Tran dynasty is particularly notable for repelling Mongol invasions in the 13th century. The later Le dynasty saw the consolidation of Vietnamese control over the southern regions, leading to the eventual unification of the country. French colonization, 1858 to 1954. In the mid-19th century, France began its colonization of Vietnam, eventually making it part of French Indochina along with Laos and Cambodia. The French imposed significant changes, introducing a Western-style education system, Roman Catholicism, and new economic policies favoring French interests. This period also saw the rise of Vietnamese nationalism, leading to resistance movements that eventually culminated in the First Indochina War. The Vietnam War, 1955 to 1975. After World War II and the defeat of the French at Dien Bien Phu in 1954, Vietnam was temporarily divided into North and South Vietnam. The Communist North, led by Ho Chi Minh, sought to unify the country under a communist government, while the South, supported by the United States, aimed to establish a non-communist state. This led to the Vietnam War, one of the most devastating conflicts of the 20th century. The war had profound effects on Vietnam, resulting in massive casualties, widespread destruction, and lasting social and environmental impacts. The war ended in 1975 with the fall of Saigon, leading to the reunification of the country under the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Post-war reconstruction and Doi Moi. After the war, Vietnam faced enormous challenges, including rebuilding a war-torn nation, dealing with economic difficulties, and integrating the North and South. The government initially pursued a centrally planned economy, but by the late 1970s and early 1980s, it became clear that this approach was unsustainable. History in detail. Prehistoric and ancient Vietnam. Vietnam's history dates back to prehistoric times, with archaeological evidence indicating that human habitation in the region goes back tens of thousands of years. The earliest known culture is the Dong Son culture, around 1000 BC to 1st century AD, famous for its bronze drums, which are considered a symbol of ancient Vietnamese civilization. This period marked the beginning of a distinct cultural identity in the region. Chinese domination, 111 BC, 938 AD. Vietnam fell under Chinese rule for nearly 1,000 years, starting from 111 BC during the Han dynasty. This period significantly influenced Vietnamese culture, language, governance, and religion, introducing Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism. Despite these influences, the Vietnamese maintained a strong sense of identity, resisting Chinese rule through numerous rebellions. Independence and feudal dynasties. Vietnam regained independence in 938 AD after defeating the Chinese at the Battle of Bac Dang River under the leadership of Ngo Nguyen. This victory led to the establishment of the first independent Vietnamese state, Dai Viet, under various dynasties like the Lai, 1009 to 1225, Tran, 1225 to 1400, and Lo, 1428 to 1789. These periods were marked by cultural flourishing, territorial expansion, and the development of a centralized government. Society. Vietnam is a densely populated country with over 96 million people. The majority of the population is ethnic Vietnamese, but the country is also home to 54 recognized ethnic groups, each with its own distinct culture and traditions. Education and healthcare have improved significantly in recent years, contributing to a rising standard of living. However, challenges remain, including income inequality, environmental sustainability, and the need for further political and economic reforms. Modern Vietnam. Today, Vietnam is a vibrant country balancing its historical legacy with modernization and global integration. Hanoi, the capital, is known for its historical architecture and cultural institutions, while Ho Chi Minh City, formerly Saigon, is the economic powerhouse, known for its bustling markets, skyscrapers, and dynamic nightlife. Vietnam is an active member of international organizations such as ASEAN and the United Nations, and it plays a growing role in regional and global affairs. The country continues to navigate the complexities of development while preserving its rich cultural heritage and ensuring that it remains a proud and independent nation on the world stage. In summary, Vietnam is a country of contrasts and harmonies, where ancient traditions meet modern innovation, and where the scars of history coexist with the aspirations of a young, forward-looking population. Culture. Vietnamese culture is a blend of indigenous traditions and external influences, primarily from China, but also from France and other Southeast Asian cultures. Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism have played significant roles in shaping social values and practices, though ancestor worship remains a central aspect of Vietnamese spirituality. The Vietnamese language, which uses a romanized script known as Quoc Ngo, is the official language. Vietnamese cuisine is internationally renowned, with dishes like pho noodle soup, banh mi Vietnamese sandwich, and fresh spring rolls reflecting the country's culinary diversity and emphasis on fresh ingredients. Economy. Vietnam's economy has transformed dramatically since the Doi Moi renovation reforms in 1986, which shifted the country from a centrally planned economy to a socialist-oriented market economy. Today, Vietnam is one of the fastest-growing economies in the world, with strengths in manufacturing, agriculture, and increasingly, in technology and services. The country is a major exporter of rice, coffee, textiles, and electronics, and it has become an attractive destination for foreign investment. Tourism is also a key sector, with Vietnam drawing visitors to its ancient cities, such as Hanoi and Hue, its natural wonders like Ha Long Bay, and its vibrant cultural festivals. Geography. Vietnam stretches along the eastern edge of the Indochinese Peninsula, with a long coastline facing the South China Sea. It shares borders with China to the north, Laos to the northwest, and Cambodia to the southwest. The country is shaped like an elongated S and features a diverse range of landscapes, from the rugged mountains of the north to the fertile plains of the Mekong Delta in the south. Vietnam's two major rivers, the Red River in the north and the Mekong River in the south, are crucial to its agriculture and livelihoods. History. Vietnam has a long and complex history, marked by periods of foreign domination and internal strife, but also by resilience and cultural flourishing. The earliest known cultures in Vietnam date back thousands of years, with significant influence from Chinese civilization due to nearly a millennium of Chinese rule starting in 111 BC. After gaining independence from China in 938 AD, Vietnam experienced a series of dynastic rules, with periods of expansion and cultural development. The French colonized Vietnam in the mid-19th century, integrating it into French Indochina. The struggle for independence intensified during the 20th century, leading to the First Indochina War and eventually the Vietnam War, which ended in 1975 with the reunification of North and South Vietnam under communist control.